All right, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle once again with another episode of Hillsborough and Hunterdon Real. Today, I'm lucky enough to have my friend and member at Newell Strength, Steve Parente. So before we dive into your story, Steve, thanks for being with me this morning. I know how busy you are, so I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on. No,
Cool,
my
man.
pleasure.
So why don't we start out just kind of telling us um, where you live currently? Tell us about your family. Do you have children? All that type of stuff, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah. I live in Raritan Township. Uh, I married. I have four kids.
4 kids.
Four kids. I got two in college. One's a senior in high school, so I'll have three in college next year. And my daughter's in the eighth grade. So we're busy. We're busy. My wife and I, between running the business and taking care of patients, we're busy, and the kids. So it's all good.
You don't seem like you're old enough to have that many kids in college. Three.
It's funny. Like I did get started pretty early in life. I started out. I think I started my business when I was like 26, 27, and started having kids and just got going real fast. So, you know, appreciate it. No one ever tells me I look young, so that feels good.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's a good thing. So where did you grow up, Steve?
I'm originally from Staten Island. I grew up there, went to high school there. I went to college in a small school in Buffalo, and I moved back. Kind of wanted to be closer to family, but really didn't want to head back to Staten Island. So we kind of got an apartment in Central Jersey in Scotch Plains, and then had my first kid and started the business when I was living out in Scotch Plains. But I started it in Flemington, our first office, and so that's how I ended up out in Hunterdon County. It was a good place to start out. Back then it was like '98. It was still growing. The county was booming, and so I just got in the car and drove out to Hunterdon County, and so that's where it started.
Okay. So the location you guys are at now, on Walter Ferrand, is that the original spot, or did you move?
Yeah, that's we call that the mothership. It's our first office. It's actually yesterday was the 23rd anniversary, March 15th.
Wow.
Yeah, so we started I started out in Flemington, and we've grown with the help of so many great therapists and people that work for ProCare, and but that's it. That's the mothership, Flemington.
That's it. And that's the original building, though.
I started in the 31 North building. One building over.
Okay.
And started there literally like in a closet. I sublet a small office from in the building 3 nights a week to get started back then. And I was working in Sayreville, and like leaving at night, driving 100 and getting that built up, and then heading back home to Scotch Plains. And I just did that for about a year or two, and then finally I completely made the break and went all in on working for myself. And then a few years later, then we eventually moved over to that Ferrand Boulevard location when they built those units.
Okay. I want to come back to that in a second. So I got some notes on that. But growing up, were you an athlete? Did you play sports?
I did, actually. I was a strange one. I played football and I played tennis.
Wow.
And the reason why is my dad was a tennis coach, and a high school tennis coach. He was a shop teacher in Brooklyn, New York, New Utrecht High School. So he was a tennis coach. So when your dad's a tennis coach, I don't know, he get you out on the court, banging balls around. I mean, I couldn't move. I wasn't a singles player, but I could play doubles. So I was actually a pretty good doubles player. We won the New York City Championships my senior year. It was fun. And but I played football. I was a tight end also. So
you're a tight end, a tennis player. You don't hear that combination.
I'm not the typical body type for a tennis player.
That's a great sport. I mean, do you still play? Do you still play at all?
I have actually. I picked up pickleball in that new place in town. It's a nice place. A couple of friends of mine opened that place up a few months back, and it's kind of like tennis, and so yeah, that's a good place over there. Those guys, they run a good show.
I got to connect with those guys.
Yeah, I can hook you up with them. They're good guys, and they run a good show. I also play a little tennis. I played a little tennis up at Courtside Racket Club, and I know those guys up there real well too. So I do get up there, play a little bit of tennis once in a while, and then, like I said, banging around the pickleball a little bit. So I keep it going.
That's good, man. Good for you. So
Can't
grow.
play football.
Yeah,
Can't play football.
no, that's the thing, man. Is we gotta pick and choose our sports as we get older. What we can
I
still do. So growing up, so you played all the way through high school, both sports, right?
Yep. Play college ball. You know, I just went to college and dug in and did the PT thing. It was tough. Get through
Okay.
that.
Now, growing up, who would you say, when you look back, was the most influential coach you had? Does anybody come to mind?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you say coach. I think for one, why I started a business was, on a side note, was my dad was a shop teacher. My mom went on to get her like psychology degree, and she started a little practice. When I was younger, we helped, you know, I helped my mom get her practice started. My dad, you know, we were painting the office and getting everything, putting tables together and stuff. So that was kind of cool from a business side. From a coaching side, I got to tell you, my freshman year of football, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like life changing. You know how sports are:
Mhm.
discipline, toughness, you know, getting yelled and screamed at. But my coach Tobacco was, he was like, he was just such a positive guy. And as much as they, you know, they kind of beat you down and worked you like a dog, you kind of knew it was good for you. You know what I mean? You know, when you have a real positive coach, it's tough on you, but you know, even at a young age, this is good for me, you know? So yeah, I mean, we love hiring athletes. It's funny, like most of our therapists played a high school sport, and we just like it. We just like the toughness. We like the discipline, and so there's tremendous value to sports and high school sports.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly. I mean, think about it. You remember your freshman high school coach and the impact he had on you. And
Tremendous. Yeah,
yeah,
you know, at some point you got to learn discipline, right? At some point, I mean, some people learn it when they're in their 40s. Some people learn it early on, but you know, I remember my freshman coach teaching me that, you know, to this day. So good stuff.
yeah, that's fantastic, man. And that discipline, I think, is key. Like whenever, hopefully people learn it sooner or later, but it is key to a successful life, I believe, is a disciplined life, living with daily discipline.
Yeah,
So,
you know, it's fun. I'm disciplined. I, I'm disciplined. You know, I have my family, I got my kids, I got the business. But the one thing that I would always let go was me. You know, so like, so now, like, not to talk too much, but this your gym in Flemington's been great. I mean, I don't know if they told you, but I go every day now.
that's great. I knew you were gonna, yeah, you were bumping up. Yeah.
I go every day. Like I get up, I hit the alarm, I get out of bed, I roll into that gym half asleep, and I feel great. So the guys over there, you know, Mike, Melissa, Richie, Paul, those guys, I look forward to going, and it's a cool thing. You guys got a cool thing going over there. I really like it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
People like group fitness too, you know.
Yeah.
I you like people. I love people, you know, and I love lifting weights because I played football.
Yeah.
I get on like I can watch people at the gym, and like I get off, you know. So I finally feel like I found something that I love. I really love lifting the weights, dumbbells, and stuff. But yeah, it's not crazy, you know. It's not like crazy stuff where you know. So I love what you guys are doing over there. You
Cool.
know, my wife's a marathon runner. Like, you know what? I gotta tell you, I leave that gym, I'm like sweating. You know, I feel like you're getting.
That's cool, man.
It was like ripping up a tile floor. You know, it's like hard
Yeah.
work. Yeah, good stuff.
Good, man. I appreciate the kind words, man. Um, it is funny though, like you said, the busier you get, or I know from my experience, the more it's easy to let ourselves be put on the back burner, you
Yeah.
know, and then nothing good comes from that.
No, you know, you realize that when you're better, you know, when you're taking care of yourself too, and you're getting that, you know, you're on that routine and discipline, you're usually better, you know, for the people, you know. So yeah, it's been good. Discipline. I know you're really into that stuff. Like, you know, you're real positive and you know, you got all that Zen stuff going on. I think it's cool. It's good stuff.
Thanks, man. Thank you. So you went, okay, so you finish high school, you go up to school in Buffalo. Did you know right away you wanted to go down the PT route? Hold on, I think we froze here.
I'm lucky. I knew I knew I wanted to be a physical therapist when I was a sophomore in high school, and I'm doing exactly what I always wanted to do from when I was 16. Not many people could say that, but when I was in that weight room and on that football team, and I saw kids getting hurt, it was interesting. You know, I saw a kid getting an ACL. A friend of mine got an ACL surgery. I was interested, and that's why I always tell kids, yeah, it's good to do things, get out and do things. I'm on a football team. My friend of mine gets hurt. I'm in the weight room. All of a sudden, injuries, and so.
Steve, give me 1 second. It's freezing up a little bit on me, okay? Give me 1 sec.
Uh,
Let me switch my internet. I'll be right back. Okay. You hear me?
yeah, I'm good.
All right. Um,
So
so
yeah,
you knew since you were a sophomore in high school.
Yep.
That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome, man.
it is. That's what stinks about all this COVID and everyone locked in their homes. Like these kids aren't experiencing anything, and so it's like life's about experiences and relationships you build on the way, and that's how you figure life out, right? So I'm that guy at 16 years old. I'm in the weight room playing. I started to formulate do with my life.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Um, okay, so you go up there, you knew what you want to do. How long is a PT program, but from start to finish, from like undergrad all the way through?
Yeah, nowadays the best you could do is 6 years. The best you could do it in six. Some people do it in seven, uh, assuming you get straight through. Some people take a year in between. So two ways to go. You get into a program that's a direct people you do a run, and then you have to wait like a year, clean up some grades, and go back. We actually hire a ton of kids that take that gap year, and they have a 4-year degree in like exercise science or biology, kinesiology, and they'll come to our office for that year. They'll clean up their grades at RV, and we give them jobs. And you know what? We've hired so many of them. What they've eventually become PTs. We know them. They're like family, and so they work for us for a year. They get into PT school. We give them letters of recommendation. They put a ton of hours in our clinic, and all of our guys get in eventually, and then they come back. It's been great. It's been a great like farm system for us. It's been a great like family building kind of thing for our company.
That's fantastic. You're at that point now, and I'm going to come back to that, but go back to the beginning when you were working in Sayreville when you
Yep.
started. Was that at another PT place? I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yep.
And then you would drive. So you lived in Scotch Plains, but then you would drive over to Flemington after work,
Yep.
run your business basically out of like a closet-sized space.
Literally a closet. Yeah, literally a closet. I mean, when I sublet this space, they were like, "Well, we could clean this closet out." I was like, "That's what."
And you were doing just what you
So
had to do, right?
yeah, I do a lot of this McKenzie stuff back. I learned this McKenzie stuff way back when, and it's gotten popular now. But it's a way to treat like back problems. You can generalize and say herniated discs. That's like it's infamous for treating how to fix a disc problem. But I picked that stuff up in the mid '90s, and before most people were doing it. Some people were, and I was a lot of hands on, so I didn't need much. I didn't need much. I just needed me and a table, and a couple little things. You know how it is. You don't need much. We're teeth. good physical therapists are teachers, you know, we're teachers. So we teach people how to do exercises, and we do some manual stuff, and then we teach them how to go home and kind of self-treat. That's good therapists. That's what good therapists do. You don't come to therapy forever. You know, you come to therapy maybe 3-4 weeks. You know, it depends on the condition. Obviously, if you have a knee replacement, you're going to be in there for a while. But good therapists teach people home exercises, how to self-treat, and so that's what I did. You know, and I just started building a clientele, and you know, we went from there.
Yeah, I love how you phrase that. You don't need much. You don't need much, and you're a teacher. You know, you can teach people with your body. You know, you work the magic with your hands, and because a lot of people, I think, get caught up in their head, whatever business they're doing, they need all this X, Y, and Z equipment, blah, blah, blah. And you just began. You just started and went. You had a table in a
Yeah,
closet, and then you made it happen. Now, how did you get your first, your first client in Flemington?
yeah, that's funny. You know, here I was like 26, 27 years old, walking around, knocking on doctors' offices doors, and just saying, "Hey, you know, I'm a new physical therapist in town, and send me people." You know, and they looked at me and they shut the door. You know, they slammed the door in your face a bunch of times. But you know, persistence pays off. And back then it was a little different. You know, now there's so many big places, hospital systems, and big corporate-owned, publicly traded physical therapy places with marketing teams, and very complicated now. But back then it was, you know, it was grassroots. You know, just go around, build relationships the best you can with physicians. For every 10 times the door would slam on you, someone would be gracious enough to let you in. And you know, when you're young, and I remember like it was yesterday, the physicians that were good to me, they were just nice, even if they didn't send people. And some of them wished you luck and said, "Hey, cool, good luck," you know, and keep doing it. You'll get there, you know. And others, send me one person. If they come back and they say good things, send me another one. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, yeah, grassroots. You know, small places like that are a dying breed now. It's sad to say, and we put a little size in our company, partly to survive. You know, and to have multiple locations and centralized business stuff helps you survive. And so we don't want to be, you know, we're not trying to be too big, but we got to survive. But to be small is tough now. So, but back then, you know, it was pretty simple. Just went out there and grinded and just knocking on doors, you know, getting people better.
And you were married at that point, right? When you had started the business?
Yeah, I was. We were married, and I was about a year or two in and had my first kid. So
So you must have been, at that point, you must have been, you know, your new kid, business. Were you still working in Sayreville when you had your first child?
yeah, you know, when I started, I did. I actually, I left there. Like you said, I drove, and it lasted about a year and a half. And then finally, I was like getting busy. I was like, you know, I gotta make a decision. You know, I can't do this forever. Just drive all over the state, get home at 10 o'clock at night, leave the house at 6 in the morning thing. And I think I can make a go at this. And so I started to figure out the business a little bit then too. Just, you know, you get involved, and it was, again, nowadays it's different. It's electronic billing. Medicare's got a rule book this thick. Now it's different. Back then it was a little easier. So at 20 something years old, I was like, I think I can do this, you know, but we scheduled people in a little black book back then. You know what I mean? I didn't even have I didn't even have a cell phone when I started. You know, there was no, I had a pager. So if you left a voicemail, it would vibrate my pager, and I would go to a phone and call that patient and say, schedule them tonight. That, you know, that's the kind of stuff I was doing back in the late '90s. It was fun.
And your wife was on board with you when you decided to leave the Sayreville gig?
Oh yeah, you know, she was great. I mean, we were doing billing out of our 1-bedroom apartment on a dot matrix printer, you know, and you know, I don't even know what a dot matrix printer is, but it goes back and forth, you know, and prints the bills. We would do that on weekends, and we just, you know how it is. You just, you know, teamwork. You hunker down and you just do your thing, and it was fun.
Make it work. So you do that. Then you have your first child. At what point did you expand out of the closet, and at what point did you hire your first, employee?
It's interesting because I was in the closet, and then like everything seems to work out. I would say all the time, when you're positive, things just have a way of working out, you know? It's like, so the guy in that building on 31 North, the guy next door, he moved out. So I said to the landlord, hey, can I knock this wall down? And, you know, and I took on another 400 square feet, another closet, you know, and we just kept knocking walls out over the period of about 3 years. And then one day, a realtor came up to me and said, hey, we're building a complex over on Walter Fran Boulevard. Are you interested? I was like, yeah. And at the time, I just bought my first house in Flemington. And here I'm buying a house, building this thing. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm getting, you know, I'm knee deep in this now. Like, let's go. So we made, you know, it was pre-construction, sat down, worked it out, waited about a year for it to be built. And in that year, again, we were just busting at the seams, you know. So when we moved over there, it was like, boom, you know, we really took on about 3,200 square feet, started to fill it up. And you know, my biggest thing was to go from just me to actually letting out, you know, giving up control and trusting other therapists, other people. And so once I realized, one day someone looked at me and was like, what are you doing? You can't do this alone. You know, are you the only person that could do, you really think you're the only person that could do this? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, really? You're the only person that could do what you do? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, no. And they're like, you need to find good people and trust them, you know? And so, you know, that's what I did. You know, one of the first therapists out here in Flemington was Brian Lair. He's a staple in the community. Guy's amazing. He's got a great family, and he jumped on board. And Eric Beck, he was the guy who came in right behind him. These guys have been with me over 15 years, and like family. You know, we were all, you know, when you're all on the same page and just trying to be well thought of and bang out a good product and have pride in what you do, you know, that's what we do. So it's been great.
Yeah, I love hearing that, man. So you grew, you started bringing on staff. At what point do you decide to open a second location?
So that company that I left in Sayreville, it's funny, I won't say their name, but I mean, I thank them. I go to bed every night and I thank them, because the one thing they taught me is what I didn't want to be, you know, and what, you know, sometimes your worst times are the best times in your life. I look back at, you know, they did everything wrong. They treated you like just a therapist in a number, a license number. Didn't feel good. And I had worked with a couple guys over there, and they were like, listen, man, good luck. You know, if you can make this thing work, don't forget us, you know. It was like I broke out of prison, I swear to God, you know. So about a couple of years in, 3 years in, I stayed in touch with those guys. I was like, guys, I think I got this figured out. Like, I'm on all the insurances. I know how to do the billing. I figured this out. I'm doing well here. Let's open up a few places, you know. And that's what we did. We opened up a place in Hazlitt, Homedale first with the one guy, and then the other guy opened up a place in Clark. And again, you know, brought them in, and you know, they got a nice stake in their office, and we were all on the same page, and then it went from there. Like, once, you know, you can't do everything alone, you know. And so once we had a guy in Hazlitt, a guy in Clark, and now we're kind of spread out, but we're all working together. It's just, you know, strength in numbers, you know. We all were on the same page, and we started to grow, bring in more therapists. You know, we a couple of young therapists that were real hungry, that wanted to maybe open up okay, let's put in, you know, 2 places here, another place there. And this has gone on for 23 years. We only have 10. It's taken time. But if we get the right people and the right time, we just added, you know, we started adding locations off of those 2 guys. It's been great. And like I said, a lot of our young therapists are former students or former kids, gap year kids, and we know them well. And so once you start bringing, you know, when you hire from the outside, you don't really know what you're getting to, you know, but once you hire from within, you know, then that really made a difference for us. And, you know, culture is so important, and everyone's on the same page. That's really what's helped us get to where we are.
You're up to 10 locations now.
Yeah, 10 locations.
So I know when I was there the one day, just remind me, how how many staff do you have in total now, spread out between the 10 locations?
125 employees.
Wow. Wow.
And I think we have about 32 full-time physical therapists.
It's amazing.
Listen, pinch me because I don't even believe it. You know, it's just in the closet. And again, I'm not sitting here saying I did it all. I didn't. Like the guys, the crew in Flemington, it's been amazing to grow that office to where it is right now in a small town. And then, like I said, keeping it again, it's about relationships and, you know, staying in touch with those other guys that I used to work with. And, that old company, they had a dream team. They just didn't know it, you know? And so, you know, we grabbed one guy, we went to Homedale, grabbed another guy, went to Clark, and then we just continue to just, you know, feed the monster, and it's working.
Still going, man. Wow. So at this stage in the business, are you still personally doing any hands-on therapy, or are you pretty much just running the show from?
That's been hard for me, Kyle, because I'm a physical therapist, man. I love being in the room. You know, I see myself as I always say I'm more of a shop foreman than anything. Like I love being in the room. This year after COVID, the answer is I've been treating for the last 23 years. Yes. This year, 2021 is the first year where I'm like, guys, listen, I need to just take care of a couple old patients that known me for 20 years here and there, but I'm going to set my own schedule because I got to take care of business, you know? So I'm in the room. I got a couple people, but we got so many good therapists. Honestly, they're better than me at this point. Some of these kids coming out of school are so much better, and we know them. You know, I know they're better. It's not like we just hire kids out of school. I mean, these are great kids, unbelievable. You know, people get on these millennials. I got the best millennials than anyone could find. They're incredible. They're smart. They're hardworking kids. A lot of them are former athletes. And they just, they get it. They love being involved. They love being in the family. They just work hard. So thanks to them, I'm actually able to scale it back a little bit and take care of business. So it's getting, 100 plus people employed. It's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts.
It's a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
So how do you obviously we talked about discipline before. It takes a lot of discipline and focus now where you're at any stage, but now managing 125 staff. Like, how do you set up your day, your week? Like, you got to be very diligent, I would imagine, as far as knowing what you have to do and managing your time. Any insight into that?
Yeah, it's funny because, and maybe I'm a physical therapist. I certainly don't have a business degree, but you learn as you go. And the one thing I can tell you is having 10 locations almost really helped because you have a head therapist at each location. You have a head office person at each location. So now you almost automatically, because you're separated out into 10 locations, you start to have that tree, right? You start to have that tree. And so it's not as hard as you think. I mean, granted, yeah, it's a lot, but it's more about pushing out information and making sure things get done properly. But you have so many key people. You think about 2 at each location. That's 20 key people that just move information through. And then the therapists that are in those locations as well, we do everything we can to get them involved in understanding just how it works, how the business works, how we like to maintain our patient care and our culture that we have, that we've established. We do a lot of the hands-on manual stuff. So to have that corporate tree-ish kind of thing, and I don't like to say it, we don't have that many layers. It's like me and a couple people, and then boom, it just goes right to the office. So it's like the government, the states kind of run individually, and you got the federal government. So that's kind of like how we do it, and it's worked pretty well. Yeah, like I said, trusting people, giving them responsibility. I've found that most of them are better than me at most things, and so that's what makes it easy.
Yeah, just letting go, right? Letting them take the ropes.
And trust them, let them go. Listen, sometimes you lose with that. Sometimes someone, if you give them your trust, and sometimes they do the wrong things with it. All right, so you learn from that, but there's no other way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, to get to that point.
There's no way one person can do everything. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly, man. So I've got a couple finishes. Before I go into that, I loved your philosophy when we were talking the one day at your shop. Just kind of tell people like your philosophy with pro care when you're treating somebody. Like what? Just talk about the philosophy a little bit.
Well, I think it's really you and I were talking that day. Is like, well, I was like, Kyle, you own a gym. I go to your gym. I'm putting 85 dumbbells, and I'm pushing 85-pound dumbbells around. Well, they're not quite 85. Richie will kill me if I said 85. But I put some dumbbells in my hand. I'm pushing heavy weight. I'm loading. My muscle because I want to get bigger and stronger. So in our office, and we were talking about this. We do a lot of unloading, right? So if I have a guy that can't even lift their arm, right? If you can't even lift your arm, how do you put a weight in their arm? And so I hear you went through a couple patella tendon surgeries, so you know about this. You can't
Yeah.
start putting it. You have to unload. So we have a lot of things in our office. That's what physical therapy is. It's rehab. It's not a gym. If you walk in a PT place, it looks like a gym. Turn around and walk out. It's not. You have more tables than anything. You know. So we do a lot of hands-on stuff, and then we do have equipment. I mean, and we have a treadmill, anti-gravity treadmill that can make you lighter, right? I mean, that's unloading. You're not running on land. Now you're running in this insanely cool treadmill. And we have like a total gym, for example, the Chuck Norris total gym. It uses your body weight and it uses gravity and it makes you lighter. And so there's a lot of things that we do to make you lighter, ways to do things. And so I always say that's the difference between rehab and a gym. It's like if lifting my arm is zero, right? The rehab guys want to just get you to be able to lift your arm. The gym guys want to be able to lift your arm with weight in it. And so I always say we unload people and get them back to function. And the gym wants to take that function and get stronger and better. And so we love sending people to the gym with them. That's what we do. Because we know moving is the most important thing. And, if you're not moving, you're dying. So that's essentially what we do. Now, look, the other part of what we do a lot of manual stuff, a lot of that hands-on McKenzie stuff. Not to get too deep into that, but essentially, the concept of, hey man, if I take Advil or I get that shot, isn't that just asking the problem? And when the shot wears off or when the pill goes away, my problem comes back again. And people ask you that question all the time, right? And so, yeah, you're right. Sometimes pills, anti-inflammatory, you take Advil. Oh, my shoulder feels better. The Advil wears away. My shoulder feels loud. I took Advil. My shoulder feels better. The Advil wears off. And so that cycle needs to be broken at some point. And so that's where our therapists at ProCare so much, in my opinion, that this is where we stand out, is because we have three types of problems. And again, I don't want to drag this out because I'm sure people want to get off, but there's three types of problems. I mean, you have soft tissue injury, inflammatory conditions, you have structural problems, which are like a broken bone or bone spur, something that needs surgery. But there's a third thing that people don't understand, and that's called a mechanical problem. And essentially all that means is, maybe your shoulder's just not working right. Maybe your knee isn't working right, your kneecap, right? We didn't know about patellofemoral problem. And if something isn't working right, you develop a chronic problem. You can take all the pills you want. You got to get it working right. And if you get it working right, things all of a sudden go away. And so that's where we excel. I really believe that's where we stand out. If you go to shut a door and the door doesn't shut right, you could squirt WD-40 on the hinges all day long. But if the hinge is twisted a little bit, right, and you straighten it, all of a sudden everything goes away. And so that's that's the other piece of what I think we do, is we treat mechanical problems that people don't even understand. They just know my shoulder. I take Advil. It wears off. And it never gets better. Some starts and we get. So that's that's what we're all about. We unload people, get them back to function, and we kind of treat a lot of mechanical problems, and we help people, get out of pain and get back to function.
That's fantastic, and I think that could be it gives me ideas because we want to do that. I want to do that seminar with you guys. But I love that the mechanical problems and the analogy you use with the door and the hinge.
I got about 50 of them.
Nice.
So let me real quick, because I know you probably have a time limit or whatever. But what happened with you, your patella tendon tear? How'd that go with you? You
Yeah,
had the
so
patella.
it's 2012. I was still teaching and I was running the gym. And at that point, it was just me, really. I had an intern that had left. He had just come back from Italy studying abroad. And I was playing basketball. I come off pneumonia. So I was wearing myself down, kind of like you. I was teaching, I was training people before, go after, train people. And I got pneumonia, a really bad case of pneumonia. Uh, and that took about 2, 3 weeks to really kind of just get out of my, like, and I still didn't feel right, but stupidly, I went to one of my men's league games when I starting to feel a little better, basketball. And I was sprinting after one of my students' fathers because I was still teaching. It's like 9 o'clock at night, running after him on a fast break. And my left knee just felt like it exploded. And I don't know, I never had an injury like that. Went down, pain was severe. They wound up calling the game. They take me in the ambulance to Morristown and wound up rupturing the patella vertically and horizontally. So it wasn't an avulsion fracture. It actually snapped in half or in 4 pieces. And then I did about 3 other ligaments, the knee capsules, the IT band. Needless to say, that was a mess. That was April 12th, and I was out of teaching the rest of the year. It took me a long time to rehab. The people I were going to for rehab after that had never dealt with it before, and I couldn't find anybody that like online. I was looking for people that had went through it, and there was hardly anything out there on this injury at that time. So I connected with Louis Simmons. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Louis. He owns Westside Barbell. It's the strongest gym in the world. Great guy. He's like 75, but he's the type, like you said, these doctors that would give you the time of day. I could call Louis because he went through this in the 80s, and he would call me back. No matter how busy, he would call me back, answer my questions and all that. And then about 2 years later, I done a bodybuilding show to kind of come back from this. Wanted Devin to see me compete. Wanted to, my leg was all the way back. Playing in the men's league, same exact thing happened to my right hand, and she was actually there.
Now, it's interesting that happened twice on the opposite. I mean, look, your knees are not related to each other, right? I mean, they're really different animals. It's funny how you had the same injury on both knees. That's really rare.
It's bizarre, right? I mean,
that's rare. It makes me think you had some mechanical flaws, something was going on that you didn't even know was there. Did you ever have knee pain before as a kid?
About a year prior to the one in 2012, I was all of a sudden getting incredibly bad, like tendonitis or tendinosis. I'm not sure that like to the point where I couldn't sit for like in a car for like more than 15 minutes because it hurt so bad. And then that went away though.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
it's funny. We see stuff like this once in a while, and it's bizarre, but it usually goes back to, like I said, I mean, did you really just blow it out? Yeah, you'd think you did, but there might have been something wrong there. There's you know this. You wrote a book on this. I understand. I'm going to get your book on this. I'm interested to hear your story. But you have that thing called the Q angle, right, where the quad comes in, and so sometimes guys get that lift. They develop tightness in certain areas, and they start to pull on that Q angle a little bit, and it puts that a little mechanical disadvantage. And then one day you're running, and boom, thing explodes. But it's only because the knee might not have been right. The fact that you got that tendon, the reason why I asked you, I'm not surprised you had that tendinosis the year before. That was a warning sign. I was telling you, like, this kneecap isn't sliding in the groove properly. And when that happens, sometimes bad things happen.
Yeah, and that sounds probably exactly what I think you're probably spot on, because when I was bodybuilding prior to that, I'd already done 5 shows. My legs were so developed. It was the one thing that I was, as a bodybuilder, I was always pretty good with my legs, like humongous quads. And I remember Devin afterwards looking at, and she said, "Man, your knee looks like at the quads. I guess that's a Q angle, maybe, but it completely did not align with my knee, like the way the angle was on both of them." So I'm sure that's probably.
And so as much as I say your knee is not related to the other knee, it is. It is in the form of the geometry, right? The way your hips and your quad comes off your hips, and the way it ties into your knee. That's the only common denominator your knees have. Is your forces. That's kinesiology, right? The vector diagram, like physics, like the way your quads got so overdeveloped and the angle they came down into those kneecaps, it was obviously some disadvantage you had from a structural standpoint. That's the only you can explain both of your knees blowing like that. That's the only way.
Yeah, once it happened the second time, I'm like, come on, man, they gotta be. This is,
That's big touch, man. The second time you had to be like, you gotta be kidding me.
it was. I gave myself about, because we knew, like, Devin was there the second time, and I'm hitting the ground. I'm saying, please, please be my ACL, because I just knew that Devin, the guy's like, why is he saying that?
Easier. The ACL is a lot easier.
Yeah, and I had done so much research, and the guy's like, why is he saying it? And like, well, he did his patellar tendon. Anyway, they sent the ambulance then. And I said, I'm not going. I said, I know what it is. I called Dr. Getcha. I don't know if you know Dr. Getcha in Princeton.
Yeah.
So he says, all right, call me first thing in the morning. It was late at night again. And but that night, I remember I cried for like 5 minutes. And then Devin's like, enough, because I felt bad. I said, give me 5 minutes. I did, and I did it. And I said, okay, I got this. Let's go. I remember Dr. Getcha was, he felt when they did the scan and all that the next afternoon, when he called me, he felt worse than me. He's like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe this happened again. But I said, it's okay. I said, I know what to do now. I said, it's okay. You know, I remember him being like, what are you talking? It's okay. I'd been through this. And
you are expert on blown quad tendon. I mean, you're the expert, because no one knows better than the guy who goes through it.
yeah.
So was the second surgery, the rehab, easier?
Yeah. Yeah. Everything I learned from the first one.
That's the difference. You know what to expect.
Yes.
You know how to push it. That's what so that's what the therapist does for the first one. He's pushing you because you don't know. We know. But then but someone knows better than you. So when you do your second one, it's like people have a second rotator cuff on the other shoulder or a knee replacement the second time they do it. It's so much easier. So much easier.
Exactly. Because the first time, a lot of it was the unknown, the fear of, am I going to be able to use this leg again?
Oh, of course. And then you go, I don't want to push it too far. I don't want to hurt it. I don't want to tear it. I don't want to mess it up. Absolutely. That freaks you out. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm going to get your book. I want to read it. I want to hear about that experience.
I would love to pick your brain on that more too, because I get people all over the world that I help with it, but I don't know. I mean, I know what I went through. I know the strength and conditioning side. I know what I know, but I don't know.
Yeah. We our share of patella tears, no doubt, and we rehab them up pretty well. They all turn out well eventually, but that's a tough surgery, man.
Yeah.
Tough surgery. Most spine surgeries are nothing compared to that. And I say spine, people are scared of spine surgeries, but they go relatively smoothly. Patella rupture, that's brutal.
Oh, it was pretty bad, man. And then the first place I went, I don't think they had any experience with it, right? So I went, and I'd known the guy. I'm not going to say their name. I known the guy for a long time. He had one of his therapists work on me. So first of all, I would go in there and I would wait forever, right? Talking like 2-3 hours. And then the one day they put me on my stomach and the guy's cranking on my knee, and to the point where it popped. And I was like, oh my God, did he just, and they said they ruptured a fat pad, but I was like, these guys don't know what they're doing. And I stopped going. I'm like, I'm done.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, Yeah, I mean, it's even from a therapy standpoint, a young therapist sees that thing for the first time, they're even sweating a little bit. Trust me, you got to get a good experienced therapist and knows what they're doing, because we see knee replacements, rotator cuff tears, we see them all the time. You don't get a ton of quad tears. I mean, they just don't exist in the world. I mean, they happen, but you're not getting 10 a week. You know what I mean? You're just not see it. So a young therapist might take a few years to get it, but to really understand how to rehab it. You can only learn so much in a book.
Yeah, and that's it too. It's like to the point you said, even with Dr. Getcha, and he was great. We became good buddies, but there's something about going through it too, right? Like where you just know, or treating it for the first time. Like there's something that you gain. You can't read it all in the book. You know.
No, that's cool. You wrote the book, man. My mom just wrote a book, and
did she?
Yeah, she wrote a book. She's like an eating disorder specialist.
Oh, cool.
And so she wrote a book, and then I see you wrote a book. I'm like, I gotta write a book. Everyone's writing books here. I write a book. It's cool. What do you self-publish these things? You figure out?
Self-publisher, man. My Panda book, I do all of it through Amazon. Self-published, man, and I pump it out.
With my mom, we're just figuring this out, how to work it. But I get it now. It's not that hard. It's not like 20 years ago.
No. The patella tendon, and there was another book I had, Anabolic Recharge. That was before Amazon offered that option. So I had to find a independent publisher, but I did it. But anything I can help you with that, man. I mean, I would love to help you with that.
That Panda book, I love it. Only if I could do it. I just got to figure it out.
Well, you got.
I might need to straighten my head out, and then I'll figure this Panda diet out.
See, I'll probably start the next Panda challenge. Well, not probably. It's going to be at some point in April, so I'll keep you posted on that. Maybe I'll coach you through it like I do with the other people.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. Yeah. Nah, this is great stuff. I love the gym. Love the guys at the gym. I love the Panda book. You know, I told you ran a hell of a Facebook campaign that I didn't even know who. Yeah, I live in Flemington. I've been working in Flemington. I've been here for 25 years. You come up on my Facebook feed. I'm like, how do I not know? Who is this guy? And how come I don't know? You know? And I went into work and I started flipping tables over and I yelled at my marketing guy. I'm like, how come he got to me and we can't get, And I was like, and so it was just, you know what you're doing, man. You really, this Facebook thing, you got to figure it out and you're getting your word out. And it's a great message. What you're selling, you're like selling Cadillacs over there, man. It's easy. You got a great place.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Sales is like a dirty word, but when you're selling Cadillacs, it shouldn't be that hard. You shouldn't feel bad about it,
Yeah.
It's great.
Awesome. Yeah. I appreciate it.
In-body machine, I think, is broken though. I got on it the other day. I think it's broken. But,
I was actually going to say, you look leaner, man. You look like you dropped some since I last seen you.
So I do well with weights. I feel good. I'm getting better, but a little too much snacking. I guess maybe we'll see. I have to figure that out.
We'll get you on Panda when I do it.
I blame the machine. I blame the in-body machine. So, it's good stuff. Yeah, they missed the February over there. I didn't miss a day in February. Every day, every day.
You, man. That's fantastic.
I told them they should name a workout after me, but they didn't go for it. So.
That's a good idea. Start naming workouts after.
Yeah, you come every day in a month. Come on, give me something. Give me a workout.
That gives me an idea. I like that. I got a couple more quick hitters for you.
Yeah.
5 years from now, what do you see for your life?
Wow, that's a good question. The reason why is, as crazy as it sounds, in 5 years is when I'm going to be an empty nester. My daughter's going to be in college, and my boys will all be out of college. So, my God, I can't even answer that because I'm having a panic attack right now. I mean, I can't even answer that. But honestly, I absolutely love what I do. I really do. I know it sounds cliche, and some people are like, really? I really do. So, I'm just going to keep doing what I do, man. Just grow the business because I love to grow it. I love to grow it because, we get some therapists and our staff. It's more opportunity for them. And it's a lot of fun. And so I'm probably going to be doing what I'm doing right now 5 years from now. Who knows? Maybe we'll have 20 offices by then. Maybe not. But we'll see. But that's where I'm going to be. I don't have any crazy dreams like scaling mountains or anything like that. I just go to work and I'm having fun.
Cool, man. And then last one, I'd like to finish with this one before we give people where they can find out more about you guys. If you were to go back to the 20-year-old Steve and give him a piece of advice, what would you tell him?
Wow, that's a good one. Considering I have a 20-year-old son, what do I tell him? I tell him, again, I hate to sound cliche, but I think the older you get, you do realize certain things. And that is, I tell him all the time, don't worry about your starting salary, worry about your ending salary. And when I say that, I don't mean life's not about money. Just position yourself in a way where you don't make decisions based on money, right? You just do what you love, find out what you love, be around a lot of people. Life's about relationships and being around people and just learning about what you want to do. And then good things are going to happen. So I hate to see people reach for the kid out of school. Oh, he paid me $2,000 more, and they reach for a job that's just not good for them. Take less if you have to, and be around good quality people. And I really, really believe that. Like looking back, you could see, life. You live a long life. and like you said, don't let money steer your life early on. That's what I would tell kids.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. Where can people find out more about Pro Care Rehab? Like, what's the best way for them to reach out to you guys?
ProCareRehab.com. We got an office in Clinton now, Flemington, and like I said, our big mothership. We got an office in Bridgewater. Those are the local ones around Hunterdon County. And we got a few scattered around in South Jersey. But yeah, ProCareRehab.com. And if anyone wants to reach out to me personally, my email is ProCareRehabilitation@yahoo.com. That'll come directly to me. I don't mind taking, emails, phone calls. I talk to people all day.
Excellent, man. Well, this has been excellent, man. I appreciate your time. Just give me 1 second, okay, Steve?
Yeah.
Let me stop the